What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the shop. We are working on this again today. If you haven't seen any of the videos, go check them out so you get caught up on everything. And like always, subscribe, share, whatever, you know, YouTube people crap. So I have put down kiln mat, which is like Dynamat or the cheaper version of it. I don't know. It's just sound deadening material in the car. I did not record that, and I kind of wish I did, but no, it didn't happen. So if you have not followed me on Instagram, I will put a little thing somewhere on here with my magic editing skills that will give you the give you my Instagram, so you go back and kind of see the progress on that. I've had all the interior out of the car, all the carpet out, all that good stuff, center console, everything was out of the car, and I put down the 80 mil, I guess it's 80 mil kill mat. I'll put a little, again, maybe pop up a deal where it shows what I had bought, and it pretty well covered everything. I'll also drop in some pictures, maybe while I'm talking here, of the before when I cleaned it, and then the after, and how much the square footage, or how much square footage covered how much on the car. So basically, I just focused mainly on the runs here. So like under the seat, I've got the kill mat all the way up here to the back. And then I did it on the trans tunnel here on the side and up in here and towards the front. Basically, that's where all the transmission noise is going to come from. That and the shifter boot tunnel, which will definitely attack pretty aggressively when it comes to sound deadening and sealing that area off. But yeah, she is all in, nice and clean. I got the transmission in the car right now. It's actually bolted up, but it's not for real bolted up, so don't freak out. You didn't miss too much if you're like, holy crap, I'm trying to follow you, or I'm interested in doing this myself, so I want to know all the steps. You haven't missed anything yet that's going to leave you stranded and not knowing what you're doing. So we'll climb under the car here. I'm going to show you. It is bolted in, and it's not bolted in like ready to rock or nothing, but as you can see, she's like in it though. Sorry, I'm snotty. It's hard to breathe. And again, laying on my back, trying to talk. So I still got the transmission jack under it. I can take the jack down because it is fully supported. I got the subframe bolts back up in it and everything. Yeah, it's all the way up in there. I only have it held in with 2 bolts, one there and then one on the other side. And I do not have the flywheel on, the clutch on, none of that stuff, because this is like basically the final test fit. God. So you can see here, this is what we're looking like. This is obviously what everyone's wanting to see when it comes to doing this, because this is all the stuff they don't really show you on YouTube. Like, nobody is giving you all the, I don't know, they're not showing you the whole process. No one's showing you all the before and after and showing you all the clearance. I really want this to be like the CD009, or I guess the CD009 series. Anybody putting this transmission in this car, pretty much showing you exactly all it's going to take, what it takes to get it done, how it fits, how it sounds. We're going to do drivability video, before and after, all that. Well, not before and after, obviously, you know what a before is, but anyways, we'll do a video after. So yeah, this is kind of how it fits up top, and it's all the way up in here, guys. You can see the mount is sucked in tight. I still have the trans jack under it because I have the ratchet strap there, strapped down for my safety. And now I can't release it because, well, there's no freaking room. So yeah, this thing isn't doing, it isn't doing anything. It is bolted in the car by itself. So you can see where I did the tunnel work as before in the other videos. And again, if you haven't watched the other videos, go watch them so you can get it. You can see all the tunnel work before and after. I've got great clearance now. It gets a little close right there. You can see on that sensor, but it's more than enough room to where it's not going to touch. And this thing is like, dude, it does not move at all. Like, obviously the engine is going to load it up harder than I can, but there's no flex at all. We're good there, we're good here, we're good going around here. Up top, plenty of room. You can see all the way up to the front there. Plenty of room here, there. Yeah, I'm just trying to show you everything, really. This mount is awesome. I got new hardware in, clean bolt holes, everything is, it's weird. This only takes 1 bolt per side, whereas the factory one has 2 bolts per side. So I don't know. That's how they made it. So there you go. It looks like as well. Obviously, there's the shifter hole. Once I get my CD009 shifter in, I'm going to be probably right on the money. Obviously, it's going to have the dog leg on it with your multiple positions. It's probably going to be all the way towards the front. But yeah, I shouldn't have any issues there. I should be able to just use the CD009 shifter out of the box with the provided hardware and all the stuff that it already comes with, and it should put me exactly where I need to be as far as shifter hole without having to modify anything else up top. I'm just trying to remember everything back here. One thing I did have to do is, you can see right there, I'm going to try to point it. You can see, can't get my finger in there. It's kind of tight, guys. Let's see if I can zoom my camera in. See that? That is your neutral safety switch on the 370Z trans. Okay, so that thing sticks out like a long ding-a-ling, and it's not going to clear. And if it does clear, it's going to be super close. Regardless, you don't need it. I had to get rid of it. It was just too long. So I tried to find a bolt to fit that. I couldn't find a bolt to fit that because it's kind of a weird pitch and all that stuff. So yeah, I just threaded out the sensor, cut it with a cutoff wheel. You can see how, again, like how I did that. I wish I would have took a picture before, but I cut it with a cutoff wheel, and then I did some like 5-minute epoxy, mixed it up, skimmed over the top, over the, yes, I skimmed over the end there after cutting it so it could cure, and then that way it wouldn't bleed through the plastic or through the hole. When you cut the sensor out, it could potentially leak there. Took care of that, and then just a little bit of RTV, and then spun it in. So now I have my clearance there. All right, let's move over to the front side of the business and see what's going on. Okay, so now we're back here, we're up here towards the front. My light here, let's get this up in here and show you guys. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now you kind of see what you're working with here. Here's the spot in the trans tunnel area, kind of give you a reference where you are driver's side, where you have to do some hammering, massaging, more or less. That's the space I have now. I'm pretty good. I have massaged a little bit with the sledgehammer. However, I mean, I don't know if you can even say sledgehammer and massage in the same sentence. I don't know, just it seems kind of like an oxymoron. But yeah, I've massaged there. I'm gonna do, I think, a little more right up here. I mean, it's close. I don't know. I would probably be fine, but I can tap a little more. I'll probably tap just a little bit more. And then I got this doohickey dicky right here that is really close. Obviously, it's not touching, but it's a little closer than I'd like it to be. So I'm probably gonna, I've already cut a little bit of that off. I'm probably gonna go ahead and cut the rest of that top portion off, and then I'll grind it smooth just to create a little distance. I'd rather grind and cut a little bit on the cast of the trans, just because I know I'm not going to use that, than to just smash more holes in my car. So, and then this side over here, you're golden. Like, plenty of room over here, no issues. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty much your touch points that you have to worry about. Up here in the tunnel here, you got that little doohickey there, and then you also have the spots back there that I showed you. So I'm going to drop the transmission once again, and then I will go ahead and what? Say hi. Yeah. I'll drop the transmission once again and show you guys where I'm gonna do a little more beating. And just like that, the GK Tech springs are in. Super simple, dude. Nothing but a thing. You got one on each side. You got short spring, long spring. They give you two different spring rates to choose from. One that's a little stiffer than OEM, and then one that is super stiff. So you pick the one that you would prefer. So it's literally that simple. The springs cost, I think it was like around 30 bucks or so, 35 bucks ship. Not bad at all. Definitely a good way to make this trans feel much crispier. So time to move on to, I guess, setting the flywheel, bolt the flywheel up. Also, here are the dowels I'm talking about, y'all. Right there, dowel there, knocked them in. You can see how they are there, and then those will pop into the Inline Pro adapter plate and keep you nice and square. Okay, so we're back underneath the car here. Clearance there a little bit. Here's the tunnel banging I did. Everything's beat up, banged up. Plenty of room there. And then on this side, not so much. You really don't have to do anything, which is nice. Let's slide my light closer. Okay, so the plate is on. You got, I'll try to show you guys this because there's no instructions. At least I didn't get any. Bolt here, bolt here, bolt here to the engine. And I used Loctite on all those. And then you'll have a bolt. You have, I think it's 3 bolts through the back side. Let me see. A bolt here through the back side. A bolt here through the back side. And a bolt here through the back side. Again, Loctited all those. And then also pay attention to when you're doing the bolts, because when you're doing them, I'm pretty sure the hardware that he gave me was the same hardware the Inline Pro gave him. It will be different sizes. So you'll have 3 long bolts that come through the block to pull the plate in. You'll have these 3 Allen head bolts to go from obviously here to there. And then you'll have 5 shorter bolts that go through the trans bell housing into this plate. And all that is very important because you don't want to go too long, because this will go too long and it'll bottom out on the trans and you can break your transmission or not fully seat. And then vice versa on the other end, if you're putting the bolt in through the trans bell housing and you bottom out on the plate, you're not going to be able to fully pull the trans in. So be aware of the bolts that you're using and the links and all that good stuff. Probably not a bad idea to test fit your plate on the trans first and then make sure all that stuff matches up. Also, again, don't forget your dowels. Transmission stock block S2000 transmission dowels here and here. And then you need to go to Nissan to get the dowels for the 370Z trans. So you'll have the 2 dowels that are going into the back of the 370Z/350Z block to line the transmission up there. So I'll show you that once I get those. I'll give you a part number and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, so here's your dowels. It's literally these pins right here, 2 of them. And then part number for anybody wondering. For the focus. Well, it's kind of focused. Well enough for you to read it. Yeah, you definitely have to have those. You have to run dowels both sides of the transmission on the block to the plate, plate to the trans. Those are a must have those. G-Tech. I got these. Pretty excited about these. These are the detent springs for the CD009. These are the stiffer ones. Anybody interested in that part number? There you go. Boom. These here will stiffen up the shifter, make it feel even more tight and crispy, which again, we're trying to basically give the least amount back as far as giving up my stock S2 trans feel. Obviously the CD is not going to be as nice, but we're trying to make it better. Make it better with the G-Tech springs and better with the C009 shifter. And just like that, the GK Tech springs are in. Super simple, dude. Nothing but a thing. You got one on each side. You got short spring, long spring. They give you 2 different spring rates to choose from. One that's a little stiffer than OEM, and then one that is super stiff. So you pick the one that you would prefer. So it's literally that simple. The springs cost, I think it was like around 30 bucks or so, 35 bucks ship. Not bad at all. Definitely a good way to make this trans feel much crispier. So time to move on to, I guess, setting the flywheel, bolt the flywheel up. Also, here are the dowels I'm talking about, y'all. Right there, dowel there, knocked them in. You can see how they are there, and then those will pop into the Inline Pro adapter plate and keep you nice and square. Okay, moving forward, here on the floor, like I said, guys, I've got the single disc clutch kit. I want to do a twin disc, but like I said, I got a good deal on this kit second hand, and this was the kit that came up that the dude had. Honestly, for one, my car is making right at like 600 horse. This is going to do fine. This is going to do what it needs to do. These single disc clutches is actually, that's what I have in the car right now. AP1 Flywheel, this comp stage 4 or 5, I can't remember, it's been a while. I've had this thing in here. Well, I've had this style of clutch in here a couple years, but this clutch itself, I think this disc has only got like 3,000 or 5,000 miles on it. Nothing crazy. Still a lot of life left. The disc looks good. Obviously, it could be a little cleaned up, but I mean, realistically, I mean, it don't have a lot of time on it. That will actually be for sale. I'm probably going to sell like the whole get-up AP1 flywheel for you AP2 guys. You get a lighter flywheel, and then this clutch here. Moving under here, this is where I'm stopping at on this video. Crawling out under here. We are doing awesome. I'm pretty damn pumped about it. Tried to blind everything. I know it seems like all you do is live underneath this car as far as these videos, but that's transmission for you. So, okay, quick recap, just to kind of let you guys know. Again, I already said everything about the plate, bolting it in. I use Loctite on every single bolt. Make sure your bolt lengths are proper. And then going on with this, flywheel goes on, obviously. Make sure that you have your proper flywheel bolts. For some reason, maybe this is different for someone else. Maybe someone did something different a long time ago, and I just don't know. My OEM bolts did not work. They were too long, just by a little bit, but they were bottoming out into the crank, and then the flywheel was still loose. So obviously that would be horrible if you didn't catch that. But again, I try to be pretty aware of what I'm doing here, because any little thing like that could totally ruin this whole deal. So attention to detail, very, very important. So those didn't work. Luckily, the guy that sent me the kit also had ARP bolts, flywheel bolts, that were just a tad bit shorter, and they were exactly what I needed. So that was awesome. Put the flywheel on, obviously cleaned everything up really good. I don't want any oil, debris, dirty, nasty. And then I put a little bit of ARP moly lube on the back of the bolt head so that it can spin when you go to tighten. That way you're getting the full, your torque spec is correct, because you're slipping and getting your torque spec. You're not grabbing on metal to metal contact. So just a little bit of ARP lube on the back of the head of the bolt, and then a little dabble of red Loctite. Again, I've used red Loctite on every transmission job I've done on this car, which is a lot because I've blown a lot of transmissions, and I've never had an issue getting them in. I've never had an issue getting them out, and they've never come out on their own. So that is obviously the goal. Torque the flywheel down, 94 foot-pounds, factory spec, and then pressure plate bolts. I put a tiny little dabble of ARP moly fastener lube on the back of the heads, just like the other ones, so they can spin nice and pretty onto the plate without metal to metal contact, so we get a good proper torque spec. And just again, a tiny little dabble of red Loctite. And my tiny may be different, I don't know. It's enough, and I didn't douse it, the proper amount. So yes, I'm freaking excited. This is all up and good to go. Ton of work done. I went ahead and knocked a little bit more on the tunnel over here, and actually knocked some of the other back. So I kind of like traded it out a little bit, but we're ready to go in for real now. Let me roll out from under this thing. Ugh. We're ready to go in for real now. I'm gonna save that for the next video. That's gonna be, I think, a lot of work. I know you got to drop the subframe probably as much as you can, which I basically have it there already. I know some guys can get away with, as you can see there, I got the one bolt out, but some guys get away with changing transmissions without dropping the subframe. You can loosen, I guess, the transmission bolts or whatever, or I'm sorry, the motor mounts, and do that, but I've always dropped the subframe, and it works well for me. This, I don't think you have a choice because old girl here is pretty damn big. So we're going to have to do what we got to do. So it's already down. Hopefully, since the subframe is really far down, all the tunnel work's been done. We can just put the slightest little bit of lube, the Honda fancy grease on the end there just to kind of glaze it so she slides right in. And we are putting this in the car. So that's the goal. I see this probably fighting me pretty bad. I think that's why I'm going to go ahead and wait, and I'll get a buddy to come over here. We'll put it on that nifty little trans jack I got over there, which seems to work really well. Shout out to a buddy for letting me borrow it. And then we will have her all the way in the car for real, for real, for real, for real. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, guys, I will see you on the next one. Again, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like the video, share the video, all those things, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.